Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back. I wanted to share something with you that I've been getting a ton of comments on my website and other places that I put out last week. If it looks like I'm looking away from the camera, it's because I've got two cameras set up here. But first thing I wanted to mention is, guys, anything that you guys can do who are hearing this to help the victims of Hurricane Harvey down in Houston would be tremendously helpful. I'd put out a post or a video this past week about going to SamaritansPurse.org. You can email me directly at info@success101podcast.com. But people down there just need so much help. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen all the stuff on TV. I mean, I'm just sitting here watching it now. Just all kinds of stuff going on here with the water just not going down. It's just incredible, just amazing. 11 trillion gallons of water dumped on a city. It's incredible. But they just need all the help that they can get, and so thanks so much for anything that you guys do. Again, you can contact me, SamaritansPurse.org. There's a ton of places out there that you can help with. But I'd put out this, just an article. I always try to give you guys relevant stuff. I do a ton of cool stuff over on Twitter as far as news articles and videos and things like that. But I got a lot of comments, a lot more comments than I thought I would, on an article that I put out about Google and what they have gone through the process through of creating this 8 habits of highly effective Google managers. Google, one of the top companies in the entire world, in the universe, and what they're trying to do is hire great managers. So they go through these different criteria, these grading criteria, these statistics, and they wanted to say, okay, what makes a great leader as far as our organization is concerned? And it might be surprising to you, just as it was to some of them, but knowledge is not important. That was surprising to me as it was to them as well. Knowledge is not important. In fact, knowledge, technical expertise, actually on the list of 8, graded out dead last. So what you guys are going to hear through this as we go through is the old cliche phrase, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that's exactly what this showed of one of the top companies in the entire world, that knowledge is not important. There's over 10,000 managers that they ran through this survey and this criteria, and they came out again with this 8 habits of highly effective Google managers. So I'm going to read off a few here to you guys. The very first one, number 1 of what makes a great leader, is being a good coach. Are you telling people constantly? Are you commanding people, or are you coaching them? Number 1 on the list. That surprised me. It surprised me that knowledge was at the very bottom. It surprised me that being a great coach is the number 1. I thought it would fall somewhere in there, but not number 1. Number 2, are you empowering your team, or are you micromanaging your team? So I had to learn this the hard way through several staff people. Micromanaging, though we want as many times as entrepreneurs to control, it's our baby many times, it's our business. We want to control, we want to guide, we want to direct, but in our guiding and directing many times we are micromanaging, and it feels like we're empowering people, but we are not empowering people. And if you're listening to this and you're not an owner, a manager, an entrepreneur, maybe you are the employee, hopefully this is valuable stuff. If you have a relationship with your superior above you, you can take this to them and say, look, even Google gets this right when it comes to how leaders and how great leaders should be. So great coach, empowering teams, not micromanaging. Number 3 is expressing interest in the success and well-being of the employees. So many times as leaders, we think that the business will run if the people run, and it's exactly the opposite of that. If the people run well, then the business will run well. That's how I meant to say that. The people are what drive the business, not if we drive our people hard into the ground, micromanaging, those sort of things, the business is going to grow. That's going to be pretty short-lived if that happens. A couple more that I wrote down here. Number 4, be productive and results-oriented. I was surprised about this, because many times people think that it's about the touchy-feely when managers are being graded. It actually has to do with productivity and results. Employees don't mind being proud of somewhere they are, where there's productivity and there's great gain, but they have to know that they're being treated the right way. So number 4 on the list was a surprise to me, that productivity and results are important. Number 5, be a good communicator and listen to your team. I'm surprised that was below productivity and results, but what it shows you is employees are happy and they're proud of the place that they're at if the results are there, if all of these other things are in line first, even more so than being a good communicator, which is kind of crazy. leaders are great when they help their employees with their own development, their career development. So many times as leaders, we are afraid of pouring a ton of time and money and resources into training someone to help improve their career because why? They might leave us. Well, they're going to leave you anyway if you're not doing that. And so you might as well try to retain the ones that you can. Hopefully they'll see your efforts as great. They'll see you pouring time and effort into them, and then they'll stay. Number 7, have a clear vision for the strategy of the team. Again, many times as leaders, we are just telling our people what they should do instead of really expressing this clear vision and the strategy for people. And then number 8 is have key technical skills or knowledge that you can use to help advise the team. Again, that's dead last. So they took that a step further and said, okay, of these 8 habits of highly effective Google managers, what are the most important manager habits when it comes to other criteria, maybe more simplistic criteria? That is, number 1, have even kill bosses. So when there's stress, there's chaos and everything going around, are you the type that's blowing up at people and making that situation even more stressful, sometimes even feeling justified, but blowing up, not being even kill, on edge all the time? Obviously, that's not going to help your people. Number 2, leaders, great leaders, help people puzzle through problems. They got down there, they got their hands in the dirt, they got dirty, they worked through problems. Again, a lot of this, as you're hearing, guys, just goes back to telling people stuff versus coaching or showing them things. And then the third thing is taking interest in the lives and careers of those employees. So again, if you're not pouring into the lives of the people more so than you're pouring into the business, any success, any growth you have is going to be short-lived because people just aren't going to stand for it. They're not going to do that for long. So the top 3, again, which in my opinion are the most important, top 3 of the 8 habits of highly effective Google managers. Number 1, are you being a great coach to the people that are around you? Number 2, are you empowering your team, not just micromanaging your team? There's a big difference there. Number 3, are you expressing interest in the success and well-being of their career development? And then surprisingly, number 4, employees rated it as profit and productivity. Let's grow the company. As long as those first 3 things are in order, we're fine focusing on results. But the results are only going to come and being focused on after those 3 things are there. And then the most important manager habits are even-keeled bosses, helping people puzzle through the problems, coaching them, directing them, getting their hands dirty, and then taking interest in the lives and the careers of those employees. So take a check on that. I know many of you that tune into the podcast, you are entrepreneurs. You're striving for peak performance every day. I'm getting comments from so many of you guys all around the world on that, and it's a struggle. It's not easy, but I think if we really tune into the needs of our employees, we're going to see them running at a faster pace, which in turn is then going to turn the business into a much more profitable and sustainable model long term. So guys, the Success 101 podcast now being heard in 128 countries every 30 days worldwide. That's so amazing. You guys all over the world keep commenting in. Those comments never get old. Please keep sending those to me. Would love for you guys, if you haven't tuned into the podcast, to get a chance to listen in. We're doing a lot of really cool things going forward in my biohacking episodes with Emilio Palafox, and then a lot of the business interview type episodes as well. I've got Rory Vaden coming up on the podcast. Tal Ben Shahar, who I interviewed yesterday, is coming up on the podcast. My good buddy Andy Nilo is coming back on. And just so excited for you guys to hear some of these interviews that are coming up and some of the biohacking episodes. So if you're enjoying the podcast, go to iTunes, give it a 5-star rating and a review. We'd be so grateful for that, and just continuing to help us climb the list to get this word out about peak performance to more people. And tune into this, guys. I mean, this is such an important thing that Google did, and they do this every year, but such an important thing, and why I got so many comments on it. So I hope you guys take a lot away from that. And if you've got any other resources like this, maybe even not from Google, shoot them my way. Send a comment. Email me or my team at info@success101podcast.com. And I look forward to your comments coming in. Thanks so much, guys.